Okay, I have 4 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any public comment?
Tom Wagner. And Brian, did you get my emails?
Yep. Done.
And is there a date? Has there a date been set
I don't have a date, no.
for the taking bids on the county renting of the agricultural ground?
On what?
The county agricultural ground, the renting?
We'll discuss that in board communication.
Okay. I don't know anything.
Okay, is the ground rented for 2025?
Yes, been paid anyway.
And is that year to year?
3-year term.
Okay, so is it up this year?
It's up this year.
Okay, all right, thank you. One other thing too, on the website, there's some meetings for, I think it's Mount Pleasant.
That's an
I
error.
saw those, they called today,
Okay, somebody
somebody
called.
put them on wrong,
Okay,
or it was with Solutions, they put the wrong county on.
okay,
They put the minutes on wrong too and everything.
okay.
They're
And
supposed to be fixing it, so thanks for bringing that to our attention.
no problem. And then, I know, Brian, this is your first year. If you're interested, I'd be happy to travel M63 with you and talk about some things.
We'll do that.
All right, I appreciate that. And the reason why I say that is because, excuse me, I can't remember, 2019, there was rock put on the shoulder. The main concern was edge rut at the time, protect the asphalt surface that was being broken up. And because of a borrowed machine, and it was set at a certain width, it was laid wider than needed to be. And was it 2 or 3 years later, it was in the plan for the resurface job, which at the time Chuck Morris stated, no cost to the county, 300,000 or 3 million federal funds, and 360,000, I think, state. So anyway, when that was placed by the county forces and labor and everything, somewhere around $200,000 for material trucking placement. It was placed too flat. It was inverted, kept water on the road. So there again, too wide, wrong slope. And so then it underran when it was overlaid, and there was bid item for the rock. And so that money that came out, that say around $200,000, if you could have saved $130,000 of that and then when it came back later, that would have came out of the overlay project. And so there's money that could be saved that all along I've talked about. I'd like to have better rock for the secondary granular surface roads. And that's just one example. And then I don't understand, I looked at that today when I came in. There's part of the shoulder that's excess of 8 foot wide. I don't understand why that has been allowed to happen. And I'd just like to show that to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, we'll move on to JD.
Good afternoon, J.D. King, Page County Engineer. Fine
fine spring day in Page County. The blades have been out in the districts, blading most of the blades. There's some blades that are being washed up after the winter. We're hauling rock to the roads in various locations with 4 trucks. Had a coal patch crew out and a crew cutting trees still with chainsaws. And our hydraulic hose with the shear and grapple are still cutting trees southwest of Clarinda. We're doing cleanup on the machines and trucks after the snow operations. Number 45 is Tandem. Still has fuel problems. It's still in Omaha. Our one of the sheriff's trucks that was purchased by the road department has a CV joint problem. And we had a couple of trucks in the shop for minor electrical stuff. Moving on to construction. The Essex North Bridge concrete was placed in the North Pier Cap yesterday, which is the last of the concrete in the substructure. Next week, they'll set beams in the center and north spans if we get strength out of the pier cap. And then that's, setting the beams on the substructure is certainly a milestone in the construction progress of that bridge. Then the next major event will be the deck. Perhaps late April or May. The weather's got to be good, and we should have good weather by then. Yesterday, the road department hosted a meeting with the Mid-American Energy Company folks that are associated with the Shenandoah Hills Wind Project. Talked about the road use agreement, and zoning paperwork is starting to flow with that. Later this week, the ISAC conference. Usually I attend this session. I will not. Questions about the update? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we now have Resolution 13-2025, a resolution authorizing and approving a certain loan agreement providing for the issuance of $7,700,000 GO obligation county jail bonds series 2025 and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the same. Kristen, what do we need to do with that?
Just need a motion and approval.
Okay, I need a motion to approve Resolution 13-2025.
I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 13-2025.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I need to have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay. All right. We'll move on with Jeff Curtis. Samuels.
Good afternoon, Jeff Curtis, Samuels Group. Figured I'd come on down and talk to you guys, getting ready to give you an update on the jail project.
Sounds good.
Hopefully everybody's been driving by, taking a look at some of the progress that's been going on. You can see that some of the job site trailers are starting to mobilize. We're waiting on Mid-American to do our final connection for our temporary power going to the trailers. And then O'Neill Electric will start getting the underground electrical temp service going to the job site itself. So we're ready to go on that. Ongoing work right now. A&W Enterprises have been working on all the underground city utilities, stormwater, and the full storm retention areas coming down on the south side. The domestic water connection is going to be happening Thursday. He has that coordinated directly with Gary and his team here at the city, and then also the local businesses to let them know that they will be temporarily shut down with water until they make that connection. They will be doing a valve connection. They will not be doing a live tap. past experience with a lot of the clays. It's just those live taps don't. Some of the materials don't hold up like they should for the duration that we need them to do. So it'll actually be a valve connection. So it'll take just a little bit longer on that connection, but it's the best route to go for the county and for the city. Submittals, now into the boring stuff of the project, all the paperwork. So submittals are ongoing. Footing and foundations are slated to start at the end of this month. All that submittal work, concrete designs, rebar designs, all the structural components have been approved, are being procured. So the Stickler concrete crews can start doing the footings and foundations. That will be followed up with the masonry. The masonry for the weight-bearing walls prior to precast coming is slated to start mid-April. Right now we're still holding the date for starting a precast delivery and erection that is slated for May 22nd. So everything is trending the right way that we need them to do. Been receiving some phone calls. It's a phone call that nobody wants to have, but it's something that we may be needing to talk about down the line. Is some of the stuff that's going on with some of the tariffs and some of that going on. Some of the contractors have reached out. They have been receiving phone calls from some of their vendors, letting them know we potentially could be seeing an increase. So we are doing a serious push on the submittals, make sure they can get their procurements and those orders placed prior to that happening. So just something kind of be aware of. Now on to the good stuff. Groundbreaking. The official groundbreaking will be happening March 19th at 3:30, and that will be at the job site. Looking at the overall weather, it doesn't look like it's going to be super nice, so anybody that has any connections with the powers to be, let's get the wind to cut. I noticed there was going to be some 45-mile-an-hour wind gust. So we may have a plan B, but the communication will be going out. I think everybody's seen some of the flyers that will be going out and then getting on the county website, so everybody's welcome to attend. From 3:30 to 4:30. We'll have short speakers. I do believe Judy is going to get up and talk, which will be nice, and a couple of other folks, and then Sheriff Charles McCalla, and then the county attorney will be talking also. So that'll be ongoing. Again, cookies afterwards, and water and stuff, sit around and talk depending on the weather. So, any questions for me as of right now?
It's getting exciting.
It's going to be really exciting. Once we start getting footings and foundations in, it'll really start to go fast. And then precast with that structure, of course the structure is 85% precast. So with that, you'll see a lot of building going up rather quickly with that. You'll see cranes in position and everything with that. Of course, it's an open job site. We will be maintaining that. Anybody that would like to come, they need to stop in at the job site trailer for the Samuels Group. And then once the project gets going, we'll talk about potentially having some community activities where they can come out to the job site, but that's something we'll coordinate. And of course, we'll have the insurance stuff that we have to work through those details too. Especially if we have any of the local schools, we've entertained students coming in. Again, that'll be an organized type situation. So more to come on that. I know the county, everybody involved in this project from the get-go has gone through a lot to get it to this point. So anything we can do to make sure everybody understands that everything is definitely going the right direction and all the hard work is going to be well worth it in the long run. Anything else?
Thank you, Jeff. And you're going to be coming every other week?
Every other week.
Every other week, okay.
I'll be in person. I'll try to slate that, of course, at the beginning of the months, depending on every now and then we may have a little leap where we get that extra week. That way, when the pay applications come in, I'll get those prior to you, 48 hours prior to the meeting, so you can review them. And if you have any questions, I can address it at that meeting.
Okay.
That way, it's nice and clean and defined, and that way, Kristen can also hammer on me if I'm doing anything she doesn't like. So, we'll keep it going that.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Next is board communication. Anything?
I'm going to go to the Farm Bureau meeting Thursday.
Okay.
Their board meeting, 7 o'clock, Thursday night.
Okay. Okay.
I had a landfill meeting last Thursday night, and everything looks good there, doing great. had an audit, everything turned out good there. So I think everything's going smooth out there anyway.
Okay.
And then the other thing I want to talk about is the cash farm lease. So it's every 3 years, and that's up this year. So we're gonna have to bid it back out again.
Is that through a sealed bid process, or how do we usually do? I guess, I'm assuming that then, okay. So,
And the last time, there was only one person that put a bid in. That was Justin.
yeah,
I think we should get him to come in this next time and next meeting or something and talk to us about it.
okay,
Just kind of explain his feelings on it. And the 3-year lease is something to think about. That's kind of a short term. It's
With-
always been longer terms.
with the jail going in, does that change the acreage
We've
amount,
already
I
changed
suppose?
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
they already adjusted that, so,
Okay.
yeah.
It was adjusted last year.
okay,
Yeah.
But we'll need to get bids out, and that'll have to be probably before June or
okay,
sometime in the spring anyway. And then September 1, you gotta give notice.
Yep.
So,
So you want him to come in next week? Have you talked to him?
yeah, he said he'd come in anytime, so.
Okay, Kristen, you want to put Justin on? Okay, next week.
Give us a little more input on it.
yep. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Kristen and I met with Kelsey Vetter, all right, today regarding the courthouse roof. We had damage to the roof and it needs to be repaired. And so
Who is she with? Kelsey Vetter, who is she?
Farnsworth.
Farnsworth?
Yeah. And we'll have to take, because of the,
She's the same architect that we had.
that did windows.
Okay, oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
and we reached out to her because of the window project.
Yep, okay,
Because of the enormity of the project, probably $1 million.
does that roof have a copper roof?
It does now,
It does now?
yes, but that
So-
doesn't mean we have to replace it with a copper roof.
But did it, so I guess what was the damage, just dented the copper on the roof?
Evidently.
Okay, but
Yeah.
we're not experiencing leaking anywhere, are we?
Well, there's a couple places.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
There's
I'll
some,
let
there's
you
some,
talk, sorry.
right,
Go ahead.
yeah. and,
Maybe you'll get to that.
Nothing major at this point.
Okay.
But because of the code, and because of the amount, we have to jump through the hoops. And the amount, and the way that the code now reads as far as insulation and whatever, and we were able to find the original, I guess with my long tenure, they were surprised that I was here when the original fire happened. So we found the plans downstairs, and Kelsey was happy to have those and looked at those. And so Troy was there, and Kristen and Kelsey, and we looked at the plans, and Troy had already reached out to a company. Who is it at Secondary Road?
Nick.
Nick had flown a drone, and so he had some measurements. Troy had reached out. He's got some other information, so it looks like we're good with a lot of information for Kelsey. So it's gonna take longer than we want, of course, and with other people also looking for roof replacements. It's almost a year since last May when this happened. So we're going to have to take some time to get this done. We need to talk to Pete and find out how the insurance is going to operate with this. Probably it's going to be up to us to deal with whether they will pay for Kelsey and whether insurance will pay for
Kelsey's the architect?
whether the architect will pay, whether they'll pay for the architect or not. So we can argue that
Okay.
at the time, but the
Okay.
code calls for, because of the amount, the dollar amount,
It
it
calls
calls
for
for
an
an architect.
architect? Oh,
Yes,
really?
Yes, because of the dollar amount. So the code calls for that, so,
Is that something then we also have to take bids on?
yes.
To do, so?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, so we have to jump through all these hoops, so yeah. So we're in the process of starting that. So anyway, Kelsey will be looking at all the information that we have. We'll talk to Pete and see where we go with the insurance and, move forward with that. So just to keep you informed as to
So
what
we
goes
have-
on.
We have pictures of this, so we can see some of this damage.
I don't know whether we do or not. Troy may have some. I think Troy probably has some information.
Or to email us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured if they did a drone, they'd probably have some pictures.
Yeah, yeah, and since Nick is good with the drone, evidently,
Yeah.
he probably has some things too, so,
Yeah,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah, so just so you know and are aware of what's going to happen. We don't have to replace it with copper. There are some other options that aren't as expensive. But the one thing that Troy had reached out, and I think it's not copper, but it's maybe a more substantial,
Standing seam.
it's a standing seam roof, but it's not copper. And even at that, it's like $962,000, I think is what he came up with. So yeah, it's right up there. So anyway, there's other options that we can do. So anyway, just so you know, that's where we are right now with that. So anyway, we'll move forward with that. So that's just where we are right now. Okay, so that's that part. Okay, so we'll move on to discuss action approved claims. So everybody saw the claims.
Yep.
So I
Make
have
a motion that we approve claims.
Okay, I have a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of approving claims?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Okay, meeting minutes, March 4th meeting minutes. I have a motion to approve those.
Make a motion to approve them.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Okay, budget discussion, I think we'll leave that for next week, if that's okay with everyone.
What do we got left there?
We just need to finalize some things, but I think we're getting there. I think we're pretty close, so,
You plan on having like more budget discussion stuff next week during the meeting?
probably just to finalize some things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you think of anything that you want to bring up,
Okay.
anyway, okay. Okay, anything else that needs to come before the board? I think we've got our meeting next week. We've got, our groundbreaking next week. We've got several things coming up next week. So, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion to adjourn at 4:23.